Does the storage in your base currently look a little something like this? AKA a massive waste of perfectly good wall real estate? Well, let me show you how to massively improve your storage space while also making it look 10 times better. So here I am in my first base that I made early game, and we have the typical sight of lockers all over the walls. The first thing I'm going to do is clear out this back corner. Then I can get some new floor lockers, and what you want to do is disable snapping, which on PC is done by clicking F. Next, start rotating the lockers till we have it facing like this. Then we can build this one and stack another locker right next to it, essentially doubling the storage while minimally increasing the space taken. This is the easiest way to increase your storage capacity and also the simplest. Everything else coming up will build on this idea. When you put these lockers in, do take your time with pushing them up against the wall and each other as best as you can. The last thing you want is for them to come out wonky. So what you could do, if you find this to be enough space for you as it is, you can add wall lights like this and then some signs to replace the fact that the locker labels can't be read anymore. This looks a little plain to me though, and it's less than 50% the storage space increase right now, though it does free up more space in your base. Instead, we can grab a whole load of wall lockers and pack them on the wall above the floor lockers. They're slightly wider than the length of the floor lockers, so you could space the lockers a little more out so that one floor locker easily matches up to one wall locker. This is good because you can add the name of what material you're storing on the wall locker and then use that as a label for the floor locker also. Once again, you want to try and shimmy these as close to each other as you can to try and minimize the effect of the varying width of the floor and wall locker storages. Now I'm going to add some lighting here, which makes it look a lot more homely and aesthetic, just like that. A big improvement to what we started with, but here's where it starts to get a little bit wacky and can take your storage to levels nobody else has ever seen before. What you can do is pull out the floating locker blueprint and start placing one on top of each floor locker. You'll probably be thinking, how do we even access these top storage systems now? Well, that's where the secret locker stair system comes in. But before we get to that, make sure you try to place these lockers as far back as you can so you don't accidentally nudge them and send them flying everywhere. Incomplete lockers like this have collisions but also float in the air. So we can have a set of stairs and a sort of mini second floor pressed against the floor lockers with floating lockers. This gives us easily accessible multi-floor storage. Setting up the stairs can be a bit difficult, as you see me also struggling with it, but just take your time, and if you press quickly enough, you can actually use no resources for building this staircase. For the platform against the floor lockers, you want to place them roughly where I have so that you can easily stand on top of them without hitting the ceiling. I do personally find it a bit tiresome to additionally use the floating lockers and a bit over the top with the floating locker glitch, but all in all, there's 735 spaces to store items here now compared to the original 240. That's an increase of more than 3 times the original. But let me show you a middle ground that I've put together in my new base. I have a separate storage room that uses a combination of most of the techniques I just showed you, but also includes floating lockers attached to hardpoints, using crates on the ground to access floating lockers above floor lockers, and signage and separators between the different resources. To me, this is a lot more aesthetically pleasing, and it sort of follows a very Altera styled aesthetic. Once again, thank you all for the support I've been receiving recently. Everything I upload is original content that's also, to the best of my knowledge, presenting fresh new ideas to the community. If you'd like to see more, please do hit the subscribe button. I'm trying to hit 1k before the end of June.